Hello and welcome to this week's angling blog. This week you join me back on the banks of the beautiful River Weaver and we're going to be fishing the float for silvers. As you can see behind me, it's a beautiful day to be on the bank and what a morning it's been coming to the venue. Lots of atmosphere, a nip in the air, but what a beautiful place to wet a line. Setting up this morning, the river was alive with fish, but it was noticeable that they were all congregated in one area, the most of the activity. So whether that's a sign of the change to come, who knows, but there was definitely a nip in the air this morning. So turning around, that's the box where we're going to be sat today. Got two rods with me. I've got my feeder rod that you've seen on the other videos. That's my corum all around the quiver. The other rod is certainly a sign that change is coming and we're moving towards that colder time of year. It's my 17-foot Preston Innovations carbon active rod. Now looking at the swim, it isn't an easy one. It is shallow down here, like you can see. There is a shelf, probably about 8 foot deep, which would be great to target, and then it slowly drops down. My plan today was to fish, you know, the deeper water, but you're getting on for 20 foot deep out there. Even with this rod, I couldn't find bottom, so I've come a bit closer. If you sat where I am on the box, we're going to be going just over that dark water there. But that's the swim. You can see there's a bit of pace on it. We've got plenty of features, but what a beautiful morning to be on the bank. So today the mindset is definitely going to be really positive. We're going to feed positive, and sometimes you need to feel your way into a swim. Other times you come with the mentality of, let's see what happens if we attack it. So going in with them balls that you can see on screen now, nice and tightly compact, but hopefully you're going to go straight down to the bottom, give us a bed to go over. So a size 10 hook does seem a bit excessive, but it's going to allow me to try those bigger baits like worm, corn. We're starting on a triple maggot, and over that dark water there, just going to feed that hemp. They say being nice and positive. There's loads of fish topping, but we're miles away from them because we're targeting the bottom layers. So a lot of that food that hits the water, they're going to be picking up. You see there the first trot through, we've got a fish, and it's only a small one, but it just shows even feeding all that bait, you know, there's still bites straight away. Tiny little gudgeon. You can see the river is absolutely alive. So again, really positive with that hemp. I've just gone over to half a worm there. So we're getting all them knocks from them small fish. That's why I've been using that size, you know, 10 hook, so we can go over to, you know, a bigger bait, and it's only a slightly bigger fish. There we go again, that half a worm, just holding back another perch. So I've been fishing out there for about an hour and a half, and we've had plenty of those perch, but no real quality, and it never felt right. And one thing in angling that I've learned over the years, you've got to trust your gut instinct, and it just didn't feel right out there. It was either on bottom, off bottom. Plenty of fish out there, no doubt, but just not feeling right. So I've made a decision, and I'm going to fish the whip. You can see there I've got my 5 metre Dinsmores Whip. I've got a 1 gram float in the top, a whip float. I've got a bulk of number 4 shot, and then we've got another bulk there of 2 number 8s, and we've gone down in size to a size 16 hook. Presentation is a huge part of fishing, and when it's not going right and you know it's not right, I'm just hoping by coming on top of the shelf on the other side of this weed that we can at least present a bait the way we want it. There isn't much flow on the river in this close in, so we definitely know the bait's going to get down to the bottom. So just feeding that caster, and in case it does start to flow, I'm going to feed it up and down as I do as a gentle flow. There's a bite straight away, and you can see how alive the river is. Straight away going in and out the bite.
A new place, a new home, for a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back. Take my time, just enjoy the ride. I know man passing by, life is good, best I've ever felt.
So as you've just seen there, we've been getting plenty of bites on this whip, and I've just gone over to a whole worm on a size 16. Thought it was a bit of a risk, obviously, with a smaller hook, and the swim had gone a little bit, just seen a change in it, a bit quieter, and the hook's buried with a nice skimmer. And that fish does answer a couple of questions for me. Number one was, would the quality fish of that size come so close in? And that's most definitely yes. And the beauty of coming closer in and knowing we're on top of that shelf, when we're holding that bait still, we know it's on the bottom. We've got a bit of a dinner plate there just to hold that bait on. Out there, you never really knew if you were on bottom or not. You can see there, just holding it still, that full worm. A lovely bend in the rod. And just shows the difference presentation makes. You know, them fish would have been out there, but because we couldn't present it proper, it just doesn't work. That's a nice perch. You see they're coming right on the end of the rod tip, and you can see there that whole worm, size 16 hook, and a beautiful billy. This net I always use when I've got a chance of better quality fish. It's a lovely deep net, but to get a good idea of it, we'll hold him up a little bit. And beautiful colours. Let's get it straight back. Again, it's just about rinsing and repeating. Fed a bit of bait again, a nugget of that ground bait and a bit of hemp, a bit of caster, and just holding that float still. You can see there the bite just developing a little bit, and another one of those billies. So I've talked a lot about how man-made this river is and how controlled and how deep it is. And years ago it was for the transport of salt and the big salt barges to get out to the Mersey. In more recent years, let's just say it's a bit more touristy. Getting plenty of bites on the whip. It's great fun. A beautiful way to fish and spend a Sunday afternoon. And every other run through with the whip, I'm just putting a nugget of that ground bait in like that. Made it so I just can squeeze it into a ball nice and tight, and hopefully that's going to go to the bottom and just keep that bait going through the swim. One thing that never changes in fishing, effort will always equal reward, and sticking with it and persevering with it today, in the last bit of the session at least, we've been rewarded with a few quality bites. One thing today, as highlighted, is the variety in this river. We've got chub, roach, perch, gudgeon, skimmers, you know, every species imaginable. And I imagine if you targeted Mr. Carp on here, he'll be knocking about as well. Looks very carpy, doesn't it? But yeah, all species imaginable, and from a river that was devoid so many years ago. Really coming on the feed now, and I guess it's a mixture of, you know, the conditions of it being bright and close in, and now it just being perfect. It literally is a bite of chuck now. Right on last knockings, we've hooked into a much better fish. It's a big perch, and that kind of might explain why it has been dying a bit. You know, when them roach have been going and all of a sudden it's gone quiet. Maybe it is because these better perch have moved in. That's a lovely perch, that. And what a beautiful perch that is, and a lovely way to end the session. Let's have a look at that final net and see how we've got on. So the session does come to an end there now, and as you can see from the final net, we had two of those lovely perch and plenty of bites from them silvers on the whip. So I do hope you have enjoyed this video. It definitely didn't go the way I planned it to, but like I said during the video, they are the sessions that you always learn from. And this one today, that mix at the end, them little nuggets, dropping it right behind the float and holding it back hard with that corn, definitely worked. If you have enjoyed the video, please leave the video a like and subscribe to the channel down below. And all that remains is for me to wish you all tight lines in your own fishing, and I'll catch you all next week. Tight lines.